Hello, homeschoolers. Welcome to the land of Kakiak. Let's talk about Bible notebooking. So for those of us that include a biblical education as part of our homeschool day, I have something to share with you today. I actually designed these. I have several notebooks I'm going to show you. I actually designed these to use with my Sunday school. And so they're called like my first Sunday Bible journal. But these could be used in any kind of small group setting or homeschool setting. I think they would work really great for. I have a couple goals when I was designing these. One was to take into account the cognitive developmental stage that the kids I had were in. So I'm mostly working with like 5 to 11 or 12-year-olds. So kind of like grammar, moving into the logic stage of learning. I also wanted to come up with something that they could hold on to. I learned through homeschooling how effective and how special it's been to have notebooks full of work that my kids have completed. And to actually keep them, I put them on their bookshelves and they look at them all the time. So it's like they're constantly reviewing what they've learned, their own skills and their own like content that we've gone over constantly without me having to prompt them or do that formally. So I wanted the kids to be able to do the same thing with Bible knowledge. Third is to actually get the kids into the Word, into the actual Bible itself, kind of steering clear of using Sundays as just babysitting the kids for an hour so the like big people go to church. I don't know, sometimes I feel like Sundays can sometimes take a direction towards just entertaining the kids for an hour versus giving them some meaningful biblical education and teaching them like some practical Bible skills, like Bible reading skills and how to use the Bible and what the different parts of the Bible are and what they mean, and just kind of like some basic things that I just can be overlooked. So yeah, those are like some of the things that I was trying to pull together. I also wanted to come up with something that could be used with a multitude of resources like devotionals or video curriculums or just reading plans, and sort of reading plan going through the Bible with kids. So I'm just going to show you. I wanted something very versatile. They're going to come away with a keepsake that they can review for years and years and show to their friends when they come over and family members and stuff like that. All right, so here's what I got. So for ages, I'd say maybe starting at 5, but 5 or 6 through 7, we'll say 5 through 7, is we have my first Sunday Bible journal. Okay, so this is my DIY version, right? This is my Etsy shop version. You can just print this and bind it yourself at home, but I also did put it onto Amazon. I think it's gonna be $9 on Amazon whenever they approve it. It's not, I don't think it's done yet. Yeah, it's still in review. I just checked it, but it'll be up shortly. So there are 2 covers you can choose from, right? This is like my girl cover and my boy cover. I actually think a girl would like this one too. These notebooks come with these little blank bookmarks, and I just print these on cardstock and have the kids color them and draw on them. And it really is helpful for keeping track of where they are in the book. They can just flip to the book to start the next day. But I always have a little Bible for them to color at the beginning. We write their name inside. This is kind of more for the parent or teacher, this part here. So what I wanted to give was a prompt, some Bible skill knowledge, like what is the Bible? Who wrote the Bible? What is a book of the Bible? What is a Bible story? Like what's the difference, right? Who are Bible characters? How can I find a chapter in a book of the Bible? And how can I find a verse in a book of the Bible? So I just thought those would be skills to be in knowledge, like things that you want the kids to be able to move towards understanding those concepts. Like it's a lot for like a 5-year-old's brain to hold, right? But especially, definitely like 7-year-olds, 6 or 7-year-olds, you want like by the end of the year, you'd want them to be able to look up a verse, right? Or tell me, explain, what comprises the Bible, like in a general idea. So it's like something to be working on, that they're understanding of what it is that they have in their little hands, Bible lessons covered. This you can fill in anything. So there are 48 Sundays worth of Bible lessons, or 48 days worth of lessons if you were just using this at home, like on a daily basis. That's the nice thing about getting the printable one, is you can just, for $3, you can just print this every 48 days or whatever. Bought a bunch of little lessons to go through with the kids. So for this age group, I want them to be going through the major stories of the Bible. So what a Sunday would look like for us is, a reading, and then to help them, we might have to help the really little ones with this one. Fill out the Bible journal page. We might have to help them with the date, right? What passage of the Bible it's from. The Bible lesson, I'm saying like the name. So if I was going to, going over David and Goliath, I'd say David and Goliath, right? Key figures, right? We're going to put David and Goliath. Verse copy work. This is something, if they can write, decently have them write. Sometimes this can take, writing is very slow in elementary school, especially. So I'll show you a trick I have to speed that up. But also, so let's say we had our reading, we would also follow with the discussion. And at this age, I'm just asking for an oral narration back, basically. So tell back everything you can remember from the story. If you have a really small group and you can ask them to tell you directly, that's great. If not, you can always have them pair up and take turns telling a friend everything, right? And then compare your stories. Like, did you guys remember all the same things, or did some of you remember other things? And then I would give them my own recap just to make sure we're like solidifying the story for them. And then art or activity. So the simplest form is you could just have them draw right in here. Anything you had, as a follow-up to anything you had read or talked about. I had these little things. I really wanted kind of an interactive notebook option to use with these. So for so for David and Goliath, this gal, I'll link her this for you. There is a lesson guide page, a memory verse poster and tracing page, a memory verse tune card and coloring bookmark, attribute of God card and word build, tracing cards, a story craft and a story sequencing page. There's a little answer key and a prayer prompt cards, which of course you always want. It's always nice to have a nice prayer that, marries up well with your story for the day. So this can be used as like a 5-day thing. If you were doing this at home, you could use her plan to do this over the whole week. So stuff like this for the verse copy work. If there was something like this that was already included for the littles, I might just give them this to cut out and to put in there on their own, right? They can just glue it in. Or this one, if they can trace, right? There's tracing here and they can color it themselves. Here's that little bookmark. Here's another, I think that was the tune. You sing it, you say the verse to the melody of row, row, row your boat. Okay. Here's another one. God is strong. God has the power to do anything. Right? It's kind of like your bottom line. That's one of your bottom lines, right? And then if you want, you can have them cut these out and put strong in. You can even have it put that, on one side and this on the other. Then there's some more like tracing, like battle, Goliath, David, but it's nice because it's giving them a little visual as well. Brothers, stone, strong. Then this is like a craft that you put together. I'm not exactly sure how it goes, but it's like something cool you build. I haven't done these yet. I just bought these. That one's like when you color in, and this one's one, I guess, that you just, I'm not sure how that craft works, but I have to look at it again. Okay, story sequencing. I like stuff like this. It helps them remember the story when they have to put it in sequence, like what happened first, then, right? And then here's our little prayer cards. And something I like to do with little cards like this is you can always make a little pocket that you tape in, and you can put those little prayer cards like inside of it to hold them in there for them. Even if you had just like a little envelope, you could just tape a little envelope in. But yeah, I have a bunch of these. So that's like extra, right? You could do the extra. You could stretch that over several days worth, as you saw, or several Sundays worth even. Okay, so yeah, that is ages 5 through 7 for us. Okay, so ages 8 through 10 is the My Sunday Bible Journal. So again, this is the girl cover. This is the boy cover. They've got their bookmark. You can write their name in there, like what year. I did start teaching the kids at this stage. We start talking about the books of the Bible and their genres, and let them know about that whole concept of reading books of the Bible. We go over, what is the Pentateuch? What does a historical book mean? Wisdom of poetry, major prophets, minor prophets, Gospels, church history, Pauline epistles, general epistles, and apocalyptic. And that's something that we talk about actually every time we have a reading or a lesson. Here's our pages I ask, so we date it, we write what passage, what Bible book genre. So what genre are we reading inside today? And we might talk about kind of more, you can talk about that in as much depth as you want or not, but it's there for you. Key figures, verse copy work. At this age, they should be able to write, better, more quickly. Pick whatever verse you want them to write. And here's an illustration space, but here's our discussion questions. This is not something I make anyone write anything about. These are here for oral discussion, basically. They could write down the answer if they wanted to, but like, who was in this story? What do you know about them from your reading? What is happening in this passage? Where is this story taking place? What do you know about it? When is this story taking place? Why are we told this story? Why is it happening? How does this passage teach you something about God? Okay, so this is definitely moving up in their cognitive abilities, right? And you can have, if you have kids of multiple ages, you guys can be on the same reading plan, right? But then have them just have a different, they just have slightly different follow-up activities. Okay, there's our little bookmark. Okay. So for my 11, 12-year-olds, right? 11, 12, 13, my middle schoolers. This actually is, I bought some of these to take to church for some of my older kids, so I'll show them to you before I bring them out there. But, so here's the boy and the girl version. This is just so they can write their name in there. I thought about doing it to all of them. I might go back and change the rest of them, but sometimes the covers are so cute and I just didn't want to put that in there. Okay, so these are the same. Let's just look at the girl one. So for them, we're moving them more towards, increasing their knowledge about the Bible and their depth of study into the Bible. This is a separate resource, but it's included in my Bible stuff. So whatever reading plan they're on, like for our kids, I think I'm going to have them doing, the Bible. I'll be basically following this for this age group this year, the Bible recap, because I want every kid to have read through the whole Bible. This is important to me, or been exposed to the whole Bible. So for this age group, I have a very small group of kids. So I actually only have one girl who is in this age category right now in my group at church. So, and she told me that she wants to read the whole Bible. She wants to. So I'm kind of planning around her, but right now, I'm going to have her read, we're going to write down the reading assignments, and then, what days that she wants to read them, and then, read to whatever book, chapter, whatever. And then when she's read it she can just check it off or whatever. And when she's through this, and she gets through one of these, she turns it into me, and I give her a new one. And these equal like some sort of prize. I haven't decided yet, but something like, I'm gonna have to get ideas from the kids, like what they want their prizes to be for doing their at-home reading. Okay, but what hers looks like is this. So it's still got the books of the Bible by genre. What is different? There's two things. So the pages are a little bit different. So you can see the illustration space is slightly smaller. They're still going to be writing down their passage, the genre, key figures, but we're going to be stopping to jot down any vocabulary that we're learning that's important. So I'm going to teach them how to use, a study Bible and how to look up, like I'll have my Bible dictionary there at church on Sundays, and we're going to show them how to use it, and how when you come across words that you don't know what they mean, or you're not sure, you want more information, like how are we expanding our Bible vocabulary for better understanding. So there's places for notes there. Verse copy work, right? So copy something down there. Summary or a study question response. So that's a good space for them to either just summarize what they read or respond to one of these discussion questions, but put it into writing after we've talked all these through. So these are the study questions for these ones. Who authored this book? What do you know about them? Who was in the story? What do you know about them from your reading? What is happening in this passage? What does blank mean? So if there was something specifically I wanted to point out to them, I'd probably just we'd have them fill it in. Where is this story taking place? What do you know about it? When is this story taking place? What do you know about this time period? Why are we told this story? Why is blank happening? How does this passage teach you something about God? Okay, the third thing that's different about this resource is these pages in the back. Okay, so we get through this. They have some biblical timeline pages back here, and they're just blank, they're just a line. But I have a biblical timeline, a little Bible timeline that I will be taking them through. So we will be filling this out together throughout the year as well. So we really want to, one of my gripes about Bible curriculums, is them being topical, and then they want to teach the kids about forgiveness or something, but then they just they do this constantly in young children's and kids' devotionals and Sunday lessons, and they're just jumping around the Bible all the time. And I really feel like it really jumbles things up in people's minds. I just think that's the worst way to learn at the beginning. I feel like that's more when you already have established just the facts, what the Bible says, and the facts, and what literally happened, and who did what and when and where, what was happening. And we're trying to build up some context by this age. This is middle school, so we're able to talk about time periods and what was going on, maybe politically around those times and stuff like that. Because, obviously lots of stories are context specific, and it's important to understand what that context is. But yeah, there's so much jumping around in kids' curriculums. It drives me nuts. Let them get a hold of the facts and have a biblical timeline, a basic understanding of all that stuff. And they're going to be learning virtues along the way as they're studying in chronological order anyways. It's not like you can't learn it. I think that's, to connect all those things is something that should come after. I don't know. I feel like that's secondary to basic Bible knowledge and understanding and being able to actually read it and stuff. Okay, so there's that one and all their cute little read me bookmarks for their home reading. Okay, so after that age, my kids graduate at our church. There's no like high school group. They just go into the main sanctuary with the adults. And so I will be gifting them these to take with them. And so these are meant for, adults or high school students. And I actually made, for the Sunday journal sermon notes, I actually made these originally for myself. So I was just using them. And then I made one for Everett. Then like my mom saw them and she was like, what are those? And so then I made one for my mom. So then I was like, I'll just put them in the shop. Then my dad wanted one. And I made like 14 different cover options. There's like 7 like girly options and 7 more masculine options. So they look like this. Again, there will be a Amazon version of this they'll be slightly longer than this. I basically printed one off. I think there was it was 100 pages worth or something. And I split it in 2 to make 2 smaller ones just for us. And so I think these ones that I did have about 50 sermon spaces in them. But what they look like is, and you can do this obviously for online sermons or anything. I have to watch actually all my church sermons online since I'm always working on Sundays. So I have to I was like, listen, I go back and watch the stream from my pastor. Okay, but you can write like your name, your phone number, right, in case you lose it, like the dates that you're doing this. I did even include for adults and high school students these reference pages for the genres of the books. But then I made the sermon notes in Cornell note-taking style. So you've got a place for your date, right? Church, what church you're at, the speaker, the sermon title. Over here, you're gonna write things like, if you're jotting down like verses, names, dates, places, or key terms. And over here, you're gonna do your notes, definitions, the points that are being made, right? So you have all this room to write. Here is a spot to summarize the sermon, or sometimes like your pastor will give you like the take-home points. You write those down, and then any announcements that were made at church, you can jot those down here too. And then at the back of this one, I included pages for just reflections and deeper study. So let's say there was anything that got you thinking about something for that sermon, and you went home and you like researched it more, or whatever you want, or you wanted to write your thoughts down about it more, or if you wanted to write, like maybe you were inspired to pray a specific prayer or write a prayer, you might want to write it here or something. So there's pages at the back, just, they're just lined for whatever you need them for. So that's what I had to show you for today, right? We've got early elementary, high elementary, middle school, high school, and adults. And you should be able to use these with anything of your choosing that you want to use to guide yourself in your study of Scripture. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Have a good day. Bye.